Hey YouTube, happy Hanukkah. I'm Brick Smith and welcome to Forever Sorting. As always with me, that guy that needs no introduction. It's Kevin, artist, Aloysius Hinkle.
Hello. How are you, Julian?
Peachy.
Is that the flavor of the beverage that you just opened?
No, I'm just drinking a good old American Diet Sprite there. That Sprite Zero.
Very good. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a very festive holiday edition of Forever Sorting.
This would have been, I've been talking to Kevin for 20 minutes just now, and just now he gets digital on me.
Oh, did he, all of a sudden?
All of a sudden out of nowhere.
I don't understand. I mean, hey, I don't know. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah, we're going to have to. I see you and talking to you now, but like you froze up for a second.
Yeah, and I go back and I not all of them, but I watch or listen to a lot of the older episodes.
Yeah.
Because I do that to refresh myself in what I just said. And I have noticed it's very, very rare for the audio to have any issues. Like the picture does get weird sometimes, but like the audio.
Yeah, it's garbage.
And it's so weird. I don't understand it. But as always, I apologize in advance if I am coming across a little robotic and digital. It's not my fault. It's the internet's fault.
What is in those? The stockings were hung with the chimney with care.
There's not a thing in it. There's not a single thing in those stockings. So this is my look. See how festive it is? I've got garland. I've got lights. I've got stockings. I did all of this, actually, believe it or not, for my Lego YouTuber Secret Santa video.
Nice.
And I figured I set this up at this point, maybe it was like 9 or 10 days ago. And I filmed. And then I said, oh, you know what? There's probably a handful of videos I need to do before Christmas. I'll just leave it up through the course. And so it got used for the final episode of Backlog Building on my channel this morning. It's going to be used now.
Yeah.
And so I'll leave it up until Christmas is done.
So I saw the stockings. That's great work.
That's great work. Thank you.
The garland is hidden because it's so far back.
Yeah. I mean, it's there.
I see it now and I like it.
It's one of those little details that you have to, I think I maybe have to point it out.
If I put you on the big screen, we see it better. We can see a little bit bigger on the big screen.
And there is lights in there.
Yeah, I see. You see the lights now, sort of.
So it's there. And yeah, these are like hanging from little tiny drawers by like plates.
Nice. So
that you couldn't put any weight in there. It'd be done. And those are Lego stockings. So those are official.
Bring them to Bama and sell them at a yard sale.
I actually really like those.
No,
they are. Lego has sold a lot of like really garbage stockings over the years, like cheap ones that are just like, they're not good. These are the only ones in my whole career at Lego from the moment I started working there to the moment I left.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the best stockings, and they were really expensive. I think they were like $25 each. But you can tell because that's like really good quality.
Yeah.
And it's got the little I don't want to disrupt them. It's got the little old school Lego Santa on it. It has like the pirate bandana because they didn't have a Santa hat. And then the red has it's just the embroidery of 2x2 bricks and floating, but it's the same red, so you can only see it on certain angles where it's like, you know what I mean? So
one time Lego did better. Good job.
They did. Those were great. And of course, they didn't sell well at all because they're expensive stockings. And people are like, I don't want these. I want
in the stocking. Any Lego?
No, it was really just those. But I remember that. So they were like, I think 20 or 30 bucks. I might be wrong. They were expensive.
Yeah.
And then they got marked down on sale, and then they got marked down sale again. Like after Christmas was done, and I bought them on the clearance. I think they were maybe $4.95 when I bought them. But I'm like, these are good quality stock, and I've kept them ever since.
I love it. Before we go any further, I just want to say hello, Collecting Bricks. She specifically requested or said, "You better shout me out on Forever Sorting."
Oh, okay. And we will go through our comments from
yes, we will
from the last episode. But before, is your head getting hot?
And this isn't the dollar store one. This is the thick one from from up north.
Real. That's real stuff.
Always 10 pounds.
So everybody, you guys all know. I mean, if you don't know by now, you're really not paying attention. But you all know at this point that Julian's down there in the Florida area.
The dirty South, everybody.
I am up here in Connecticut, where we've had 2 days of negative temperatures.
We have also had blistering cold weather here.
Blistering. We got, it was so cold that we got the
Kevin's not looking. It's 56 degrees.
I saw it. Oh, I looked at it.
Jealous, I see.
We got so cold that we got the warning advisory for kids on the bus stop for the last 2 days because they could get frostbite. So awesome.
We ever get down in the teens, they quit school.
Over here they say buckle up. So welcome back everybody to Forever Sorting. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Collecting. Collecting.
Thank you for collecting bricks.
Bricks are.
Yeah.
I'll let you get to it.
Yeah.
I was gonna drop names and stuff.
So, but before we dive into our topic and story for today, I would be remiss if I did not provide us with our customary intro. So everybody, my name is Kevin. Thanks for coming and listening to my story ramble on. I promise it's not going to last forever. And I'm looking forward to it ending so that we can talk about other things that are not just me all the time. But I'm glad that you guys have an interest in it. I'm glad you find it entertaining or educational. Thanks for being here. If you'd like to find me outside of this program, you can find my website at kevinahinkle.com. You can find me on social media at Mr. Kevin Hinkle. If you'd like to follow my work as a freelance artist, you can find me at Mr. Hinkle Draws. And I appreciate anyone that does follow me and find me there. Take a quick moment. Also, I haven't done this very often on this program, but a special shout out to the folks that support me over on Patreon. That is a huge help. It is stable, reliable income for an artist. So I really appreciate the folks that do support me there. I appreciate anyone that's considering it. Check it out. You can find it. You can find it at patreon.com/Mr. Hinkle Draws. That is where I share exclusive artwork that I do not post elsewhere. I give developmental imagery, process notes, and I also send out real life rewards. Hey.
There you go. Patreon for life.
And
really
so that's
proud of you with that, and I'm glad people are supporting you. And I'm really happy with the level of quality of things that you give to your people. I saw them drawings; those were all dead sexy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I did. I've been thinking about it for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, these people they're really important, and they make a difference. I'm going to send them a Christmas gift. And it wasn't anything that was advertised. I didn't put it on the page. I didn't mention it anywhere.
Oh, I know, because if you had, I might have been your Patreon.
You might have. Yeah, I knew that was about to happen. So, hey, pick that up and put it up. Everybody, Voltron is disassembled. So, unfortunately, when you put a giant robot on a tub and then you leave it on the lid, you cannot open the tub and get something out of the. That's not how that works.
You can too, Kevin.
I mean, sometime. So I drew up some gifts for Christmas, and I sent them out. I did a couple live streams, just to kind of show people the process, and I wasn't really concerned if people. If actual patrons were on there, because people didn't really know whose things were for each other.
Yeah.
But I'm going to post an image of all of them once I have gotten confirmation they've all been delivered.
Okay.
I think half of them have, and that's pretty exciting.
But like now, this is who we are. This is who you are. This is 20, ladies and gentlemen. This is 29 Kevin Hinkle. This is 2019 Kevin Hinkle. I called you 29.
You did. I mean,
that's Kevin.
Yes.
What was your process for picking a drawing it, and then sending it to a person? Was it random, or did you put any?
That's a great question. So because I had done the 1 year anniversary celebration in October.
Yeah.
I had recently asked all my patrons for suggestions on things they like and things that they would like me to draw in the exclusive doodle stream that I did for them.
Right.
And so I had a nice little list because everyone gave me 4 to 5 things. And when we actually had that stream, I wanted to make sure I spent, a good amount of time per doodle, not a ton of time because it is supposed to be kind of a loose stream and it's more sketching. But I was only able to get like 4 or 5 done. And so when I was saying, I want to do some Christmas gifts, I want to draw some things. Oh, that's right. I have a pretty decent list for a good number of them.
Nice.
So I went back and I took some of the suggestions that I hadn't drawn and I pulled from that.
That's
so there was also some, I think there was about 3 that I had gained since doing that.
Oh.
So I didn't know really much about them. I know who they are, but I'm like, I don't really know enough about them. And so for those 3 people, I actually, you may call it a cop-out, but I decided to just draw them. So I said, well, I don't really know what they're interested in or what they like. So one of them, everything he posts online is his sig fig. So I just drew his sig fig. And then for the other person, I actually did a caricature of him. Hey, what are we talking about? Go clean that up. You're not doing a good job listening right now.
Clean up what?
Hold on.
Yeah, but oh no, I don't know. Life happens, things happen. I leave Lego on the floor here. Alex picks it up for me. The other way around over there. Sorry.
Yeah. So sorry. Dad mode activated.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Hey, if this, listen, the demographic. What's down there?
I was looking at Voltron bits that are everywhere.
Yeah. The demographic of my channel is a large percent male in the father age group.
Yes, we all can relate.
So if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. The other 2 was I just drew them.
Nice.
Those all went out, and then I decided, I really enjoyed that, so I updated my tiers on Patreon itself. So now it does say in the terms and conditions, if you will, that if you support me as a patron, you will get a annual holiday greeting card and a sketch every year. So that is so obviously, and I put in there that's in December, so you have to be a patron in December. But that was really fun. I look forward to it.
Saying is in 11 and 12 months, I just sign up in December for the 1 month and get my card.
There it is. I mean, you can. I won't. It's fine.
You do other stuff throughout the year.
I do other things, and it's exciting, and so I appreciate it, and I'm going to keep putting.
I'm very happy about this.
And I also really believe in, kind of giving back and paying it forward when you can and where you can.
Amen.
And so as I've been gaining new patrons, I kind of take a relook at the other creators I'm supporting on Patreon.
Yeah.
And so if I, depending on, how much is coming in, I can siphon back off and put it back into there. So I am a very proud patron of Bricks O'Brien.
Yeah.
I'm a patron of Maniac for Bricks.
There you go.
I'm a patron for Brick Blaze. I'm a patron for the Brickhead family.
Love it.
And I added, I think, 3 new artists. So they're not from the Lego community. But I got
You're an artist, so I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, but it's really cool, and you know, like I said, I try to keep balancing that out, so that you know there's money coming in, and I really appreciate it, but I'm also giving back to other people too,
which is awesome. And here's the thing, folks, just because you're not an artist, just because you build out of the box, doesn't mean you can't give back.
Absolutely.
You can find a way, figure a way, do it. It doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. I am a fan of the pay it forward and the give it back and this and that and the other thing. Just as
all the things.
All the things.
All the things.
I respect what Kevin's saying, and I'm not just bandwagoning. I'm just not co-signing with Kevin. I feel this way separately.
Yes. So that's I mean that was a long tangent, but I think an important one.
I think it was good.
And so
short, Kevin's on Patreon. Go be a patron to Patreon, Kevin.
I appreciate it.
There you go.
And then a couple other things to get out of the way. Bricks in the Middle, folks. The last time we were together here for this show, I mentioned that we were going to be launching the updated and refreshed merch shop on Bricks in the Middle. And guess what?
What, Kevin?
It actually happened.
So wait, what?
It's real. It's on there. So if you go to bricksinthemiddle.com and you go to merchandise, you will now see the two different shirts that we offer for sale. You'll see the Sparks minifigs. You'll see the enamel pins. You'll see the 1x8 bricks. Those are all available for sale. We did send out an email blast. Believe it or not, I'm still kind of processing this. We have 700 people on the Bricks in the Middle email list.
Oh my!
Which is insane to me. But we sent an email blast to all 700 folks saying, hey, the merch shop has been updated. Thank you for being an email subscriber. Here's a discount code. And we gave all those folks the first heads up, and we gave them a discount code. So, hey, it might be worth it to check out bricksinthemiddle.com and sign up for that newsletter if you like the comics. What in the world are they? If you didn't even know, they are comics about Lego fans for Lego fans.
What? I can't get in.
You could just exit it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so that got updated, and we have had some orders, which I've been super happy to ship out for people.
Oh,
there it is.
Oh, you did the damn thing.
We did it. It you know, the reason it took us so long, I'll give you a little tiny peek behind the curtain, is it's because we had to integrate two. I mean, I say we, but this is really all Matthew because I just draw things. We had to integrate two different styles of e-commerce and fulfillment onto the one store, because the shirts are print to order from a service called Printful, whereas the other items, the bricks, the pins, and the figs, those are here in my basement that I just put in a package and ship you. So we had to put those.
That was easy.
What happened?
Oh, I just clicked on a link. I love it.
Oh, there it is. So we had to integrate them together, and that was giving us trouble for a while. But Matthew did an awesome job. And again, another shout out to Matthew. I know that the artist is kind of important for a comic, but Matthew has done an incredible amount of work on Bricks in the Middle that is not drawing. Matthew is the one that built the site. He built the store. He built he's the one that started all the social media accounts for Bricks in the Middle. It was not me. And he built the email newsletter, and he's constantly doing stuff for the comic as a whole behind the scenes. So he's a very important part of this duo. But yeah, bricksinthemiddle.com, check that out. New comics will hopefully be coming soon. The store was the main priority, and we got that done. So new comics are on their way. Check that out. You can also find it on social media at.
Oops. All right, you got to repeat that. I kicked you out by accident.
So yes, bricksinthemiddle.com or on social media at BITM Comics.
There it is. Thank you.
And last but not least,
you're right out.
Boop.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Last but not least, I do have a selection of Lego inspired t-shirts that are available in partnership with Clutch from Bricks on the Dollar. You can buy them through our Amazon store. So just head to bricksonthedollar.com and you'll find direct links for I think about 10 different designs. There is no longer a monthly subscription service. Sadly, we've had about 2 to 3 people reach out saying, Kevin, I'm ready to sign up for the monthly service. I'm like, it doesn't exist anymore.
You know, they would just give them the link to this thing. That's what you do.
But bricksonthedollar.com, there are older designs there. And I do receive a portion of every shirt sold. So I appreciate you checking those out and considering adding those to your Lego wardrobe collection.
Absolutely.
So all that out of the way.
Oh, hey, hold up. No. Real quick. Special shout out to Brick Jams, who owns every single one of those shirts.
Was he there from the very beginning?
Yes.
That's awesome. Special shout out indeed.
You forgot him. And he's like, I got all the shirts. I'm like, you damn sure do, don't you?
That's amazing. He's going to be in the 100% club then.
Yeah, he's got that.
I might have to make him his own shirt.
He'd like that.
Just for him. One shirt.
You just put all the designs on top of each other.
Oh, and it'll be the A-full shirt 100% club.
There it is.
That's pretty awesome. Thank you, Brick Jams. Appreciate
you. There you go. I got you, homie.
And yeah, the newest / last for the monthly service.
Yeah.
That is getting shipped out today, the day we're recording. So if anyone is watching this that gets them, you probably will receive it. Well, no, you'll get it soon after you watch this.
Monday. You'll get it Monday.
Yeah.
It'll be there Monday.
So that's what I got. Let's go through the comments. How about?
I mean, we should. Or we could just say goodnight. No, I'm kidding.
And we're done.
Yeah, no.
All right, let me get this up. So
does this seem
our last episode.
Was that me or was that you talking?
That was an ad.
Oh.
I paused it. I paused it immediately.
Okay.
So we got episode 56.
Is that where we're at? By the way, Kevin's slacking on the thumbnails.
Always.
We need.
I feel like I always feel like I'm ahead,
You're
and then
not.
I'm like, and I'm behind again.
You're too behind right now.
It's all right. It gives it character.
Yeah. Drinking a Sprite. That's what it is.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
So we've got. Let me sort these by. I like to see go in the order they were added. Our first commenter was Doc Sampson. Thank you, Doc.
Doc, what up, man?
And Doc says, another nice story time. Shane McQueen says, I should really proofread my comments before I send them.
It happens.
I won't disagree. Bricks on the Dollar says,
Clutch himself, everybody.
I'm gonna try to do my best interpretation of this. Damn, somebody bought themselves some StreamYard. # moneybags.
So, Clutch, just a real quick note on that. Yes, the YouTube community bought me StreamYard. I mean, they donated with super chats and watched the ads, and I took that money and put it back into the channel.
And then here's the rebuttal after he has sat and listened to the episode.
Oh, dear.
But I see that money should have gone to new chairs or maybe a new battery in the smoke detector.
Huh.
I mean, we both have pretty squeaky chair. I mean, I've got this new, the camper folding chair.
Yeah.
But it's as I've been sitting in it, it's getting looser and it's very stiff. And it has these really loud.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like a fart just now.
Yeah. I mean, that's the chair. But it's as I keep sitting in it, it's the fabric is loosening up and it stopped doing that. But we all know Bricksmith has a very nice creaky long. There it is. That's a good one.
What it is it's the chair screaming for help. I am too large for this.
There you go. We got Brick Trains, who replied with only # BrickFairJoey. Blockhead UK commented with yay, more story. # the end is nigh. We got Duju20, who said, it's another good one, guys. Keep up the good work.
We always do, Duju. At least we try.
And I still think that comment is copy and pasted, and it never is.
Gotta be.
And then we've got Brixar.
Oh, I know. Jabbo.
Jabbo says, I have never applied for a job at Lego at all, let alone a community manager. I'm glad things had settled down finally to get back to the story. I'm sure something else will go wrong before you finish. Still my favorite podcast.
Thanks, buddy.
And our last comment comes from Scott H510. And it says, see, doesn't it feel good to progress the story? I'm not going to lie. When I first heard about Kevin and his role as community manager, I thought, dream job. In the end, it's still a job with its good days and its bad days. And no matter how well you do your job, you are replaceable. And that is right there to the point, my friend. It is like any other job. There are some absolutely amazing aspects of it and some really dark, deep pitfalls of it as well. It's just like any job. But thank you to all of you guys for listening and leaving those comments. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And when we were talking last time when we were together, we were talking about how they had finally kind of put together the job listing and opened it up to hire somebody to help me.
Right.
And something that I actually had kind of forgotten about a little bit, but was a huge part of this is that is also when at the same time that this was going on and I was like desperately trying to convince Keith, my boss at the time, and in turn him convinced Tormid, our director, that this role needed to be filled. That there was this entirely secondary struggle happening in our team. That was like my main purpose was like, Kevin's drowning. How do we get him to not die?
Right.
But at the same time, Keith had been on in the team for a year and a half. I don't think it had been 2 years at that point. And he was brought on as the new senior manager for the team. He was the senior community manager.
Right.
So myself and Yan Bayer and Kim Thompson, we all reported to him. And he came from Lego. He was internal. He came over from the actual factory. So he was like in the quality testing, I think.
Oh, wow.
So he was very like his way of like thinking and processing was very logical, very system based. And it's very, very at ends with community manager. Because community management, as you guys know, is all about relationships and feelings and the warms and fuzzies. And I mean, it really is. It really is. It's all about building and nurturing a relationship with a body of people. Whereas Keith came from the Lego side of this box is not the right weight. How do we correct it? And we put it on the shelf. Next one. Like very logical, very system-based, very fact-based, very, 1, 2, 3, move on. And that really, really created some friction in the team.
Oh, yeah.
And so when he came in, as I mentioned before, I know I've mentioned this, he had a lot of really, really like positive things that he threw in, like, hey, we should do this. Like he was the one that said we should all have consistent uniforms as community reps. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Which is that thought, like that system-based, kind of, numbers-based thinking. But then there was a lot of stuff he did that was like not so great. So for example, him being a very numbers-driven person, he was always pushing me pretty hard because North America and the Americas as a whole had, quote unquote, the smallest Lego fan community in the world. And by the numbers, he was absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And so many years and blood, sweat, and tears was put into the process of how do you put numbers to this whole thing?
Yeah.
How many fans are there? How many lugs are there? How many shows are there? What is a fan? What is an AFL? What is a lug? What is a lug member? And those debates went in circles and circles and circles for years. Because everybody has a different perspective. Everyone has a different point. For me, I could say, well, this is how I would approach it from a North American AFL mindset. We have lugs that are covering our state. We have meetings every month. And to be a lug member in good standing, I assume I need to go to, I don't know, half of those meetings for the year. The lug is going to do 2 public-facing shows. I guess I need to go to at least one of those. Like, we're all, like, debating these practicalities. And so, over the years, North America, mostly North America, not necessarily South America, but North America was reporting in their numbers to me. This is how many lugs we are. This is our membership. And that was, oh man, what was that number?
1 million.
I want to say, oh man, it has been a while. I'm starting to lose the numbers, folks. Oh man, I could be completely off. It was a very low number. I think the number of lugs was somewhere around like 100, like 105, 110, something like somewhere in there.
Yeah. Okay.
And the combined reported membership, I think, was like 16,000.
Wow.
So there's 16,000 AFLs in North America. Whereas my colleagues were reporting, well, Europe has 40 lugs and we have 150,000 members.
Huh.
And so it's like, yeah, North America looks like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, many years was spent on, well, how does the European lugs define membership versus the American lugs defining membership versus the Asian lugs? I mean, when Asia came online and we had a community manager in Asia, which was Jackie, and he's still there to this day, that really threw another wrench into the system in the whole numbering game and labeling game, because then all of a sudden you had the Asia region that would have, we have 6 lugs. I'm like, okay, 6. How many members do you have? 1.3 million. It's like,
what?
So, I mean, and again, there is a huge factor in how the different regions and how they culturally define membership.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Asian groups, from our research, were saying that like their lug was a Facebook group. So when they were saying, well, when you ask us how many members, we look at how many people are members of our Facebook group, and that's 15,000 for this one. And it's like, okay, not quite what we had in mind, but whatever. That was stuff we were chewing through. So based on just the numbers, Keith was constantly pushing back really hard on North America, was saying, well, North America doesn't really have an opinion on this because they have the smallest community. That obviously was wonderfully received by me. And what it was really, really causing friction with was with Yan and Kim. Keith, Yan, and Kim were like oil and water. They were not getting along at all.
Right.
They were having a lot of problems. From what I understand from all 3 of them is they were fighting a lot, and Tormund was having to kind of like be this intermediary and come in and settle the fights.
Wow.
Which is not good.
No.
I had my share of fights, but you guys need to remember from where I was in my place, I was desperate. I'm like, I need this man in my corner and I need him to help me.
Yeah.
And so did we kind of butt heads? Absolutely. We did. But not at all to the degree that Yan and Kim were butting heads with Keith. But that was causing a lot of issues. And Keith in general, I'm not really I'm pretty confident in I say that if he were to kind of come down to like just a community manager role, he didn't really do very good. And so to his credit, he was like, well, I'm going to go to 1 or 2 fan events in all of your regions to learn your community. That's awesome. A+, man.
Yeah.
Good on you. And he would go to the shows and he would not perform very well. So he would be there. And this was not just in North America, but because I saw it also happen in Europe. He would be very kind of distant. He would be he would kind of emit that normal, like, I'm a corporate person, bow down to me kind of aura.
Oh yeah.
And I what I mean. Like, they show up, they got the suit jackets, the cup of Starbucks. Yes, they're a marketing executive. Why are they talking to you? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. He wasn't to that degree, but he definitely was emitting that. And he also, again, something that kind of baked into my reflection over time.
Yeah.
I was like, I think he had a struggle with empathy. He had a true struggle with understanding passion and, being a fan about a thing and what does that mean and how does that manipulate your actions as a fan? Like, what do you say and how aggressive you are, or how enthusiastic you are when you talk to somebody, and the whole like rock star mentality. Like, he didn't get that. He was like, well, I don't understand. Like, why are Lego designers and our Lego community managers, like, why are you guys rock stars? It's like, because we just are. I don't know. Like, trying to understand that.
Let's say, okay, I can answer this for you. You say you just are. I don't know if you know the answer or you feel like it would be too much for you to say it. Here's why. Here's why you guys are rock stars. It's plain and simple. The brand, the company, is glorified by the full, and with that comes the faces. This person created it. This person's my manager. It's like when I first heard of you, I thought, okay, Kevin is the community manager, so he's managing us, and I saw that as that's Lego's handler. This is the guy who's important.
I'll take it.
That's how I. Now, if you guys felt differently, that's fine. Say it in the chat or say it in the comments. But I don't believe you if it's different.
Yeah. It's fine. But I mean, that's another example of how he was like at odds with us.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he had a problem with it. He genuinely had a problem with it. He's like, I'm not comfortable with fans asking you guys for autographs. And it's like, we don't ask for autographs. Like, it just happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And we handle it professionally and we move on and do our job. But like he didn't understand that. He had resistance to that. I think I mentioned this a long time ago. So I'm, apologies if you are binging on this and you just heard it, but it was months ago.
That would be a few hours ago. A few days ago.
Exactly. But because I remember talking about this, but like he had problems with, for example, how much time we would spend at events as community reps. So like we would come to a brick fair or a brick world or a brick fest or whatever. And, we would arrive. And basically from the moment we woke up after we ate breakfast, we're ready, we're dressed, we're good to go.
Yeah.
We're on. Like I'm on the clock, I'm working. And I'm there until I'm done for the night, which is usually at a show like that, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the whole time we're on, the whole time we're working, even all the meals are usually with fans.
Right.
Answering questions, being professional, doing whatever we need to do. And again, he had a huge opposition to that. He's like, well, you're spending too much time with the fans. It's like, well, is that not the reason the company sent us here? So that's just like how his brain was just different. And like I said, I had an agenda. I'm like, I need a person, so I need this guy in my court. So I would try to pick and choose my battles very much so. And Yan and Kim were not in that necessarily of a dire of a place, so they fought tooth and nail on everything. That happened.
I have a derailing question for you.
Sure.
If they had 150,000 AFOLs,
yeah,
and you had 16,000,
yeah,
why was your job harder?
So the interesting no, I mean, it's great. It's a perfectly valid question. So what's interesting is when you think about it from the perspective of like logistical support, just take logistics.
Right.
Every lug has an ambassador, a point of contact in which you are responsible for managing a relationship with.
Yeah.
If I have lugs that have 10 people in it, let's just say just 10 people in it, but I have 500 lugs, that's 500 people I have to talk to.
Yeah.
Europe had a fraction of the lugs that North America does.
I got you.
I mean, things have changed, but back then. And so you would look at my plate going, because this, believe me, what you just said is the question I had to answer to Keith. I had to answer to Torment. I had to answer everyone over and over and over because everyone was very confused going, but Kevin, you have the smallest community. And it's like, you don't understand. So I would have like 115 lugs. That's 115 ambassadors. That's 115 support packages. It's 150 people to have a relationship with.
Bless you.
Yeah, that was me throwing my voice. And in Europe, a lot more members, but a fraction of the lugs. So that means if they have 150,000 members, but they only have 40 lugs, that's only 40 people they have to have a relationship with.
I get that.
And so it's very like on paper, it doesn't make any sense. But when you dive in, you go, oh, okay, that makes sense now. And then also the shows, the cons, the expos.
Mm-hmm.
Not until like kind of recently was that really a thing in Europe. You know, they have the fan weekend, of course, that's been going on forever. And that was really like their only like con was the Scarebick fan weekend. That was the only comparable thing to a Brick World, a Brick Fair, a Brick Fest. Over here, you know, think about when you go to these shows, how many people are just flat out not in a lug at those shows. I go to those, or I did go to those expos, and I have to engage with all those people. So, you know, it doesn't matter how many lugs there are. I've got a Brick World with 1,100 people I need to talk to.
There you go.
In Europe, they didn't have expos. They had little lug shows. So like the lug in London would set up a nice little display, a little maybe 20 by 30 diorama in a local library. That was their show. And so Yan or Kim would, of course, visit however many shows they're going to visit, you know, 8, 10, 12 in a year, just like me.
Yeah.
Except they're going to shows that are usually either one lug or maybe 2 lugs that are driving. And it's like stuff that are attached to like a hobby expo, a library display, a university show. And all the lugs do that. I mean, lugs all across North America do that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go because that would be a total waste of my time. It's like, why would Lego send this community rep and pay his salary and pay his travel to go engage with a lug with, I don't know, 20 members sitting in a library for 4 days?
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. I'm going to go to a Brick World and engage with 1,100 stakeholders in one spot. So like fundamentally, it's so different. But when you look at all the numbers, it just doesn't make sense. You're like, wow, yours is so small. Your job must be the easiest. And that is why for so many years, it was so difficult for me to get anyone to understand why I was drowning. And it's like, why don't you understand? But it's a good question. Yes, a lot of infighting, a lot of bad morale in the team. And it got bad. It got really bad with just us fighting as community reps with Keith, our direct manager. I mean, it got to the point where we had to have an HR representative come in.
Oh my!
And again, because now it had gone beyond our director's level, I don't know, but and have an HR representative, and we even had to bring in, you're not even going to believe me, a business psychologist to break down what all of our problems were with each other, because we had gotten to such a toxic environment, because we were like, it got to a point where all of us were just constantly fighting about every single little thing. And remember, guys, this is all happening when the whole community is still like, hey, Kevin, can you send us a box of support for our show? And it's like, you got it. It's like being ripped apart in 6 different directions. But it was really, really bad. Like that was a point, again, another kind of like really low point where all of us, me and Yan and Kim, we were all periodically checking for other jobs in and out of Lego. We were like, done. I'm done. Because we really felt like, I mean, we kind of, you know, the community is always the community, and it never, like, I say this with the most endearing possible way. It never really learns. It just kind of keeps doing what it does. And some people get better, some people get worse, some people move on, new people come in, and it's just this constantly moving school of cats, right? It is what it is. And when you understand that's what your job is, it doesn't really bother you. But when that's your job, and then your boss is not supporting you, you're fighting with it, you have a toxic work environment, the rest of the company doesn't want to acknowledge that fans are a thing, and you're like belittled, and like all the sides start to just cave in on you. And you're like, why the heck am I even doing this job? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it got really, really bad. So that happened. Did we ever really resolve the issues? No. I mean, we just kind of like talked about it and Lego paid some psychologist a lot of money to come in and talk to us and write how everybody was feeling on whiteboards. And I even said, if I recall correctly in that meeting, because again, I couldn't help but talk about the situation I was in. I said, if I can recall correctly, of course I'm paraphrasing, and this is now years after the fact. But I said, here's where I'm coming at with all of this. I said, the fact of the matter is, I feel as though this company, the company we work for, the Lego Group, has totally, unabashedly and unapologetically let me down in every way over the last, I guess at this point it was 2 years or whatever. And I'm like, you have left me out to dry managing 2 continents. And you have gotten away with it because you've been dangling in front of me little bits of pay raises, little bits of promotions, and the potential that maybe one day, if I just keep holding out for another year, someone will come and help me. and I think it's absolutely ludicrous. And I was telling them, I mean, this is me in the group setting with HR, with a psychologist, with my boss, with my colleagues, and I'm like, everything I come at with this team, with this department, every task, every discussion, every project, remember, I'm coming into it pissed off. I'm going to come into it disheartened. I'm going to come into it exhausted. And I'm going to come into it feeling like, why do you care what I have to say? Because you haven't listened to me for the last couple of years anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I need you guys to remember that, yeah, I'm snapping back. I'm probably being a little bit too forward or too direct and being constructive. Like, I'm not dismissing whatever the criticisms of me are in this setting at this time. But I need you guys to understand where I'm at and why that Kevin's entering the meeting at -20 every day. So like, we got to get a 0 before we're constructive. Whatever, it did what it did. But so I bring all this stuff up because what's really important is it got so incredibly bad that Keith actually resigned. So he said, I'm done. I can't manage this team anymore. They're too insubordinate. They're too out of their minds. They're fighting me too much. I give up. So Keith quit Lego altogether. It was very abrupt. I think it was like maybe a 3-week notice. He said, I'm out. I'm leaving Lego altogether. Goodbye. So, of course, for you guys listening to all this, going through, my first thought is, I can't believe we are here again. And once again, I have poured time and effort and energy and sorrow onto the floor saying, can you please finally backfill that role and help me? And I finally got somewhere with a new person. And once again, that person is gone. Like, I can't, but like, this is like the stuff that sitcoms are written on.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I cannot believe once again that I've once again put all this time, weeks, if not months, into building a case. And I'm finally getting there and throw that out again. Let's start over once more. It's like, I did it with Tormund, threw it out. Did it with Keith, thrown it out. And so I'm like, wow. And that's just awesome.
That is just. I hope after watching this, you guys have a great Christmas.
Right. So that the role was not open very long after Keith left. I can't remember how long it was open. It wasn't very long. But that is when I got my next new boss, who is still with Lego. I don't know if I'm going to say too much about her.
Okay.
I don't I don't really have a lot of major problems with her. I've got some disagreements on how she's managed the team, and she's actually not even in charge of the team anymore. Of course, in Lego fashion, the team and the department has rearranged itself, renamed itself, and restructured itself, I think like 3 or 4 times since then. So she's not involved, I think, anymore with community management at all, but she's still in the department. But so she came in. Her name is Tanya, and she has gone out to shows before. She's gone to a couple shows in the United States. She's been to shows in Europe, so people may know of her. So she came in, and she was my new boss, and I'm like, great, I get to start over again. And I remember her coming over and coming to BrickCon in Seattle. So she's like, I want to come to one of your shows and experience what your fan community is all about, to learn about what you're doing. And I remember she came to Infield first, and that's, in Connecticut, and then we flew all the way over to Seattle. That's from one side of the U.S. to the other side. It's a long day.
Yeah.
And she was, from what I learned after the fact, she was very, very much hired on to fix the toxicity of our team. So she was another internal Lego hire. She actually came from IT of all places.
Oh wow! Okay.
But she was a very respected manager in terms of like caring. I mean, that may sound lame, but like she was very known for being like a manager that like wanted to know when your birthday was so she could get you a gift. Making sure she recognized when your employee anniversary was coming up, that she asked you how your days were, that she wanted to make sure you weren't overburdening yourself. Like she was one of those like her people management skills was very high. So she was brought on because of the situation and how bad it had gotten. When Tormund hired her, he was very much interested in someone that would help the morale and get us back in a decent place. And I could tell that when she came on, that was a huge priority for her was, tell me about your family, tell me about your kids. I'm like, this is weird. I'm not used to this. And of course, going about it all like a beat dog, like, are you going to pet me or are you going to hit me? But so she went out of her way when we went to BrickCon from Infield to book her plane ticket next to mine so we could sit on the flight all 5 hours.
Oh, how sweet.
And I'm like, this is interesting. And we talked the whole time, and she wanted to talk about workload and work-life balance. And she was like, she did a lot of listening. And she's like, tell me about everything you've had a problem with over the last years. I'm like, well, I'm glad you're sitting down in an encased tube for 5 hours. I'll tell you everything I'm upset about. And I went through it again, and I even told her, I said, I feel so dumb because I feel like a broken record, but I swear since, Jim was let go in 2012, I feel like I've been saying the same thing and not one of you is listening to me. And I said, and that's just getting real old real fast. I talked about, I told her that Tormund had let me down as a leader, and that I wasn't exactly thrilled with Keith, but Keith did hand over some of the work that we did. I talked about this earlier about like tracking hours and putting together a job listing. Like he handed over some of those things to Tanya so that she could keep it going. And as you guys know, because of last time, we did eventually get a role posted. And that was on her watch. So that wasn't, Keith's now gone. Yeah. And that's when I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that like my boss left in the middle of all this. But so she was, I guess, convinced or whatever to actually go through with that and put the job listing up and hire somebody to help me out, which, got her a plethora of brownie points in my
man.
I'm like, oh, I got a new boss, but it seems like she finally listens to me and she's actually going to help me. One of the things I found very fascinating, and I'm just gonna say it and I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna dive into it. But so she came over with me, as I mentioned, to BrickCon. That was her first, and I think maybe one of 2 U.S. shows she's ever been to.
Okay.
But so she came over. She had a wonderful time. She was there the whole time. She didn't kind of cut in and cut out. Like she was there for the whole show.
Yeah.
And she had made a comment to me the last day, and she said, "Kevin, I'm very confused."
Oh dear.
And I said, "Okay." And we were outside of the expo hall by ourselves. And she's like, "I don't understand. This show was really great. And there was hundreds and hundreds of fans from your region. And we got to talk to them. And there was not only multiple states represented, but there was even Canadians. You had international." I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah.
And she's like, and it felt good and it felt positive. I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I don't understand, because Kim and Yan insist that all your shows over here are all just commercial entities that are not at all about community building, and they just are profit seeking."
Huh.
And I was like, "Well, isn't that an interesting statement for you to share with me, new boss?" And she's like, "I've gone to a couple of the European shows, and this was exactly the same." I'm like, "Interesting." And so I told her, and I said, "Well, I think then, as the manager for our team,
Yeah.
I think you need to use your judgment and go back and try to convince them that it's all the same."
There it is.
Did she do that?
No.
No, she did not. And actually, to my astonishment, to my absolute astonishment, when I next visited Billund, which was probably 6 to 8 weeks after that,
Yeah.
It's as if we had never had that conversation.
Interesting.
And so she was asking me, as we were getting ready for the new year, because this was like in the October, November, December time, asking me, what could we do in the new year to help weed out all those evil commercial conventions over in North America? Because they were all just profit seeking and they weren't about community. And we needed to really kind of fizzle out support. Wow. And I'm like, and I kind of looked at her, I'm like, do you forget we had a whole conversation about this in Seattle?
Wow.
And so I'm going to leave it at that.
Wow.
Like I said, she's still there.
Wow.
She's not really directly involved with community management, but she's still in the department. That is, and will, I think, forever be a point of contention, is that European culture, which is where Lego is headquartered, folks.
Yeah.
European culture is very different than American culture, and that's fine. They don't need to be the same.
Right.
But they have a very deeply seated instinct to kind of assume the worst from the Americans. Always do. And so they go, well, these events in, BrickCon and BrickFest and BrickFair and BrickMagic and Bricks by the Bay and Bricks in the Six and BrickFet, those are all clearly just there to make somebody rich, right? It's just, those were just created because some fan wants to violate Lego Group trademark and copyright and make money and make themselves a millionaire. It's like, no, that is a very deep-seated instinct for them. And that was a never-ending fight. It's actually, I know for a fact, today, 2019, I am 2 years out of the department, but I still have a very close relationship with a lot of the owners of these conventions.
Yeah.
It's still a problem, folks. They are still fighting Lego and getting them to understand that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. They are here for the community. That is why you have events like Brick Fair Virginia with 1,000 registered AFOLs, Brick World Chicago with 1,000 registered AFOLs. It's not about, I want to get rich off of your brand. That's not what it's about. And they're still fighting it today. And good news, they got nobody from North America representing them. So I'll let you guess how that fight's going. But the important thing for today's story, I wanted to is recap was that I had another boss change. So now Keith is out of the story, and now Tanya is currently in as the manager. There's some weirdness going on, but whatever. In terms of the perception of events in the North American region, we talked a little bit about numbers and the numbers game, and getting the job posted, which I know is kind of where we left last time, but there was like some little missing bits in there in the middle, which I think are important bits. Yeah. So we're going to throw that in there. But that's all I got for you guys today on this very special festive holiday edition of Forever Sorting. I hope you're not too bummed. It's all, hey, guys, It's not personal.
Kevin.
It's just business.
Hey, Kevin. Couple of
Lord business.
what? Lord business. Kevin,
Yes.
when was the date they let you go?
December 2017.
20th?
No, not the 20th. It was the 5th, I think.
5th? Okay. Because tomorrow, the 21st of December, is my anniversary at my job.
Oh.
3 years, everybody, of laid back, big bearded Brick Smith.
Woo!
This beer was brought to you by Disc Village.
and correcting them youths, right?
Oh, I've been correcting you since 2001.
There it is.
Oh, that was a good show, Kevin. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, you guys got 1 hour of goodness. We had a lot of awesome stuff to talk about. The next time we record this, well, maybe it'll be up, maybe it won't be up. I don't know.
Let me look at the calendar. What are you trying to say?
I don't know if my festival, my holiday decor will still.
The next show is going to be the 28th.
It'll probably still be up.
It better still be up.
I mean, that's what I keep my tree up until the 1st, and so it's.
Yeah, us too. The 1st of April.
Boom, everybody. That's Julian over there with the wisecracks.
That's Kevin right there with the hat. From all of us here at Forever Sorting to all of you at home, have a very brickful Christmas.
And a happy new year.
Remember,
see you later.
gotta love those bricks.